Um, I know that Instagram is a corporation and it's a business at the end of the day, and they're in it to make money. It's not just about mental health and all those fancy things that they like to parade. At the end of the day, Instagram, the reason they do this stuff is to push more brands and people to actually use paid advertising to actually generate that engagement and actually get their content out. There was two major updates. It wasn't just the likes; it was actually the reach that has gone down dramatically. And so they updated the likes to kind of smooth that thing over, so people don't really notice that their engagement has also dropped at the same time. So it's a strategy by Instagram to move people towards paid advertising.
And then how do you feel about influencer marketing? Because I saw on your blog, you said you could go with an influencer who has millions of followers, pay exorbitant rates, and hope to gain some traction just by association. But we put in the work to truly support your brand. So is influencer marketing something that you don't necessarily believe in?
No, I definitely believe in influencer marketing. I think it's really good avenue to drive targeted traffic to your account, but uh, you'll have to dig a little bit deeper with influencer marketing because not what you see on the superficial level is what it actually is. You got to look into analytics. You got to look into does that user or does that influencer match your brand style and brand aesthetics? Do they have the right engagement on their account, on their posts? All these key elements are very important to vet before you work with an influencer and hire an influencer. The other thing as well, I find a lot of brands and even like influencer agencies that offer influencer marketing in the wrong way, where they'll hire an influencer and they're and get him to do like say one post, for example, and they buy one post on their page as a placement, and that's it. So the brand doesn't really get a strong visibility in terms of or reach because one post is not enough to actually drive any sort of meaningful result for a brand. I treat influencers more or influencer account as more billboards. Do you think about a company that advertises on anywhere in a traditional place? If they were to advertise a billboard, they're not going to put up the billboard for one day, then remove it and say, "Oh, yeah, the campaign didn't do well." They'll leave the billboard on for a month and then really track the conversions for over a month, how many people actually seen the billboard and what the conversion is based on that. So it's the same principle that I use for influencers. So having multiple placements on their account guarantees that you're reaching a big part of their audience, and at the same time reinforcing that message where retargeting kind of comes in and having all those different touch points.
I kind of want to double back to niches there for a minute because I know niches are extremely important when it comes to growing a brand on social. So, what would your best tips be for someone that's trying to decide how they should kind of niche down their content?
It depends on the end goal. It depends if is it a personal goal or is it more of a business goal. If it's a business goal, then you focus on if the niche, can you make money from that niche? Can you monetize that niche? If you can, then you got to find out who are the best people in the industry that's doing it right now and replicating something similar. So looking at the style of content, look at what type of hashtags they use, look at the types of captions that they use, and from there try to go one step further and actually start building relationships using direct messages.
That's actually something that I've done, and it's an effective strategy. And I haven't done it enough, but I'll
Yeah,
go to Gary Vee's Instagram and I'll go through kind of his comments and
yeah,
I'll engage and send direct messages to people there.
yeah, yeah. That's a perfect way to do it.
So with your content then for your Instagram, how do you ensure that it maps to the niche that you've picked out?
Look, it's all about aligning it to what people are actually interested in, engaging with. If you're in the luxury travel niche, then people like to see, nice hotels and just yeah, photographs of nice backgrounds and yeah, like anything within that luxury industry. That's what people are like looking to see pretty much. So that's where I try to align my content to that and give people what they're actually looking for and what they're interested in. Because people like stories. It's just part of human psychology. We've always been it's ingrained in us to wanting to listen to stories and be engaged with stories. So telling stories with your content, and having that, like, more of a, it builds more of a stronger emotional connection with the end user, which in exchange will likely end up in having more engagement from that user, and eventually actually generating whatever it is you're trying to achieve, whether it's a lead or a sale or whatever else. So having stories are like very important as part of your narrative on social. The key is to, similar to what Gary Vee says, it's to give value, 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 then ask for a sale. So providing as much value as you can initially, and then opening up a conversation and being more organic with it, not trying to sell straight off the bat. Just open up a conversation, find out what people are actually interested in, find out more about their buying habits, what they like, and what their personal interests, and what did they find or what did they like personally about your program or whatever else you're selling. And from there, you can easily start providing value to them personally through direct messages. And usually, like I said, the sale will happen on its own. The more value you provide, it'll all happen organically.